Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube podcast. So today I have Shubham here. So actually fun story about Shubham and me is that we were in the same school, same batch as well. And we actually met 2 months ago. We never talked in school to each other, but we
Yeah.
met 2 months ago through another agency owner who I was doing leads and lines for. So Shubham here is a media buyer who works with multiple DTC brands. So I wanted him to bring on the podcast and see what he does, how his everyday work life looks like. So yeah, Shubham, if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, so thank you first of all for having me here. So I work as the e-commerce media buyer and I work with like multiple DTC brands that are currently at 7-8 figures and that need help with mainly paid social advertising. So my role is basically to work with like the like accounts spending more than 100K per month.
Okay.
And work with a lot of like junior media buyers to help them make sure that the lower spending accounts are also at the same time growing. And my role is to basically like upskill the team and at the same time make sure that I am able to like help the other junior media buyers in improving and upskilling, and at the same time focus on leading the like bigger spending accounts for the agency.
That's great. So, how did you get into this field? Because I know media buying is something that a lot of people always look for a good media buyer, and it's a field that is very, here and there, especially with the new Facebook update, etc. So, when did you actually start, and what's the journey been like to start with like smaller brands and now working with seven-figure brands?
So my journey is quite interesting because I was always into marketing, and I was always into like advertising or understanding that how consumer psychology is, that intrigued me a lot. And so this started when I was in college, when I was studying marketing as a subject. So I started like doing a lot of internships here, like physical internships before COVID, and I worked in a lot of like bigger agencies in India. So I got that curiosity of like working in the digital marketing field itself, and I did a lot of like sales sort of internships where I was paid like $50 a month.
Oh, damn.
And but my goal was to like learn,
of
like to understand and to get my fundamentals right, understand how the corporate marketing works itself.
Yeah.
And then I got really intrigued into digital marketing, and then right after that, like COVID, we were hit with COVID, and I was like obviously in my third year of college, and I had a lot of free time on my plate, and that's where I decided to like do a lot of these YouTube courses and like watch a lot of people in marketing space. I was really active on LinkedIn, and that's when I thought of basically like starting something of my own. First, it was just to build my portfolio, just to get basically after my college, I should have enough skills to get employed. So I started doing a lot of like all the basic elements under digital marketing. Like I started my own Instagram page, Facebook page, built my own newsletter, started my own like WordPress website, started writing content like blogs, generally about marketing, advertising, and things around like digital marketing. That's when I started like also running like doing SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads for my own like newsletter and like blog. So I got like some traction, but so the idea was to like obviously not make that as a full-time thing, but also to understand like what all elements I can focus upon or I can build my career upon, and at the same time build my portfolio. So I started like running Facebook ads for my own blogs. Did like a bunch of mistakes and like learned from it, but I thought of like why not help other people, or just like because I was obviously broke and had nothing, no money of my own, so I thought maybe let's start helping people for free, because I did a lot of like consultation calls with people, and they told me that a lot of like industry experts, they told me that why don't you like help other people who are like really starting free, or someone within your family or friends. So that's when I thought of that's when I was really active into like LinkedIn groups or like all these communities that we have. So I started helping like a bunch of drop shippers, those who were like really starting new. Started like getting some experience, obviously made a lot of mistakes, went through a lot of like courses, but the only thing that I saw was that these courses were not practical. But once I started implementing those things, I started to get a hang of it. Then I got like my first inbound client from like one of the Facebook groups. So that was like Australian brand, really small one, but and that was like all pre iOS 14, so everything that you ran on Facebook was working really well. So I got some like experience from it, and I was paid like my first paycheck was I think $30 for like a small project, and that was like my first gig that I got, and that made me realize that okay, this is something that I can actually do. And before this, I was like actually looking to build my portfolio, but after doing this, I
got to know that there's something.
There's something obviously.
Even if it's like $5 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Get like
but like the money wasn't the issue over there, but the my only concern was that how can I make this sustainable? How can I make like a career out of it? So that was the biggest aim from that. And eventually I started working with like multiple agencies. Like started having some of my like own case studies, having something of my own, and started getting like bigger accounts, like spending 5K a month, 10K a month, like then starting building those results, and then working upwards to like now spending like $1 million a month on one ad account itself.
That's great.
But it's been like a two plus years of journey of working.
Of course, nothing is overnight, especially like in the media buying world, you just can't go to $1 million spending plan, etc. But it's interesting how you like chose like started from $30 doing like free stuff for other agents, for other brands, because that's what I see with most people. They see media buying, they see social media management, the agency world as a quick money scheme, and they just like say that okay, I'll charge this much, and they burn out the client for more future services. So I feel with you trying to get that skill, obviously doing it on your own, realizing that you can help others with it, and how to make it more sustainable side of things. Especially for us in India, it's something very new to see it in USD, especially with the rate difference between the both the countries as always. But didn't that thought ever come to you that I'm from India, why would anybody pay me the same amount that they may pay a media buyer from outside kind of a thing?
It came obviously, it came a lot of times, because initially when I was starting fresh, because I thought this is something that I haven't really explored, and this is something that obviously we haven't been ever taught in colleges or like in our Indian education system. So I always felt that why would someone hire me from India? But the good thing that I discovered about this entire like DTC sort of industry is that people don't care about where you are from. Obviously, some people.
Of course, there are some people who will always say.
Will always say that, but like genuine people who are like actually wanting to grow their business or their client's business will actually hire you if you are really good at what you do, and if you are really someone who actually have the results or the case studies to back what you do, then you can actually deliver the results, because this industry has a lot of like agencies who are like who can just like promise you that
promise with the word,
and they won't deliver it. So obviously they need people to actually deliver them. And once I started getting like the results of my own, once I started understanding that okay, this is not something that's like really tough. Obviously it's tough, but it's something that you can obviously acquire over the time if you have the drive, if you have the passion to do it. So it eventually like helped me in getting ease and in getting like comfortable in what I am doing. And eventually everyone that I work with is really they really appreciate it, and they are like
you need those kind of agency owners
who really understand
that there's a skill required for this, and without you the agency is not complete, because it's all about the team in today's time. Even if it's with email, it's social media management, with ads, you can sell the service, but everything's about client retention. You don't want to be closing a client every month and losing them, and for that they need the right team in place, and you provide a big piece of it by actually providing the ROI to the customer who can actually see that okay, I'm spending 10K and I'm getting 30K back. Okay, this actually makes sense for my business, versus you burning through their money and then they're just saying that we can't do anything.
And especially like agency owners who, or like people in this industry who have the mindset that like talent doesn't have any boundary, doesn't have any sort of like geographical restrictions or anything like that. People from all over the world can work on this virtually, so we have this flexibility, so why not make the most out of it and use the best talent that we have.
So then we being 21, you are also 21, we being the same age, it's obviously a little bit tougher when you start. You think that okay, but then you see people in the industry like Kai Bags, like Iman Kazi, who are younger than we were when they started their business, and that never stopped. And I think the agency world, the D2C world, everything is like on the younger generation more than anything. So like at this point, I think I would be able to say that you're making a good enough living in India. We both are here in Goa at a staycation, workation kind of a thing. Just booked an Airbnb for both of us. But so how did your like friends or family react to that income level? Because obviously you said you started with $30 and that's nothing, but today's time obviously you're working with multiple brands, you're working with a brand who's spending $1 million on Facebook. How is that change of 2 years? 2 years is quite soon to make that change for anybody, and for our families to adjust to the idea of you having a job where you're sitting at home and you're doing something on your laptop and they're not believing, okay, what are you doing? Because they are used to the mindset of going to office. We don't work 8 hours a day, we work on our time limit. We work till 2 a.m. maybe some days, but some days we can just be
the
free.
Flexibility.
Exactly. So how's that reaction been to the money coming in, to them seeing you, how you grew it, and them believing, is this a legit thing or are you just wasting your time?
Yeah. So firstly, the difference was like a huge difference that I saw personally with my family or like my friends. Basically, I would say that the transition was really smooth because I always had all of them into my like journey, and they were always aware that what are my whereabouts and where I am in my career. So obviously first it started because when I was in college, everyone thought it's like a side gig or it's like something that he's doing just for the sake of passion. It's not going to like get him more money or something like that. And obviously my aim was to get more experience first of all. But once I left college and once I started like doing this like full time, I started like obviously seeing that money come in and like that skill also like getting better and better every single day. First of all, my parents and everyone were like really skeptical because of like this online scam and all of that okay, he might be like doing something, but let's make sure that he doesn't do anything illegal or something like that. And so once I started like actually telling them that okay, this is something that you like you see Facebook and Instagram ads on your phone every single day. So this is what we do at the back end, showing them that okay, this is something that's like legit and it's not something that like I'm doing just to get quick rich scheme or something like
it's
that.
Not a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, exactly.
The ads you bring to us saying that, oh, can I buy this? I found this on Facebook. It's actually you running that particular ad in the back
exactly.
end. So
Exactly. So the transition, even like till now, they don't understand it like fully. They don't understand like how can you make more money like while working online or like while having this freedom or like working anywhere in the world. But like they understand that okay, this is something that I've built over time or this is something that I've worked in the past 2 years. And obviously the learning curve was really like the trend was really upwards for me, and I got the opportunity like with God's grace that I got an opportunity to work with like bigger brands, bigger agencies, and like started really understanding that how can I upskill myself. And I always had that desire to like to not get restricted towards where I am sitting, and obviously look
the choice
at
to
other
choose the clients you can work with, and you can actually say no to without actually fearing.
Actually say no to like smaller clients or clients that have the red flag that I don't want to work with. So I got that flexibility, and a lot of like people trusted me, trusted with their abilities, trusted in my ability to like give me that opportunity to work with like bigger brands and spend like more money and obviously get my personal like income up as well. So with their help and with my drive to like obviously upskill myself every single day, the transition was really smooth. And I think that now I am looking forward to like taking bigger positions and not just like restrict myself to being a media buyer, but like take bigger positions like CMO or like bigger leadership positions, because like media buying in this industry is something that can get automated pretty quickly. So you need to like upskill yourself, you need to make yourself indispensable so that you will always remain an important source to the brand or like to the agency, and they'll not treat you like as a vendor or they'll treat you like a growth partner, because actually you're adding value to their business. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's very important that you are open to the idea of actually changing that. I know we've had this talk personally where you said you're not particularly interested in having your own agency at the moment, and you'd rather work as a consultant for other brands, so for people who you don't have time for, you give consultancy services. You were telling me about them. So that part is always that you've made that skill up, with that. So you do, like when you were learning media buying, do you have those nights where your plans were in the negative and you were stressing about it and thinking I should just quit? It's not happening? Because with me personally, I've had those nights where I had so many clients to cater to that I used to just think, what am I doing? I better do a job because it's much less stressful. And it's much less stressful on the mind, because you feel that because at today's time you're on your own mercy. If you don't work 7 days and you neglect your clients, tomorrow you can go down to zero again. And our industry is such a fast moving industry that people get to know, like for example, I get all my clients through referral. Now if I don't have like a proper delivery for say 5 clients, the next 5 clients who could come from them would say no, and somebody I would reach out to would say, oh, X person told me that your leads weren't good. So in our space, it's so important when we are working with other agencies to actually have a very strong communication, very strong discipline towards our work. So how have you done that with your own?
Yeah. So like once in this like past 2 years, I have always like interacted with like multiple brands that were like obviously really small ones starting like completely fresh, like zero sales on Shopify, and then like spending like and with now working with brands like having and like monthly revenue of like 5 million plus as well. So that journey has given me like a ton of experience on to decide like which brands I really want to work with and which ones are obviously having the red flag. So that's why I really want to like that's where I feel that our profession is something that allows us to like like work with multiple brands and understand with experience obviously that which brands will obviously give like less headache, which where we can actually help them grow. And those who like actually understand this paid social like industry,
it's not like just throw the money in the fire.
It's like just like not putting $1 and getting $3 back. It's not like that easy. Obviously, after iOS 14 and all these changes that have happened in the industry over time. So now just like properly vetting those brands because now once we have the experience, or like I personally know that I have the experience to like actually help them grow, I can pick and like I can choose the clients that I really want to work with and that have all the green checks in the place that so that when once we onboard them, I can actually get the results for them, and they actually have the resources because it's really easier. So like after iOS 14, it has become really difficult for smaller brands to like
scale
spend
up.
like spend 5k 10k on ads per month and make sure that they get results because you need
you need to have money to burn to actually gather that data that used to be easily gatherable
now it's like more difficult. You need to have that patience, you need to look at your blended numbers, you need to obviously have a really solid set of creatives. You can't just like throw anything and make sure that it
works. Just a stock photo like used to work
exactly because like before iOS 14, anything that you run on Facebook used to work really well. But now the landscape has been changing. Brands have started to move to TikTok as well. That's a new upcoming platform.
Exactly.
So it's really difficult for brands to succeed on Facebook if they don't have the right resources, if they don't have the right sort of creatives, the offer or the product market fit. So it's not just about media buying anymore. It's all those elements in place. So I make sure that I vet those brands properly before onboarding them and making sure they have all the right checks in place. And it's all about like making them understand the right expectations before onboarding them, that this is
not
going to take
exactly.
Like under promising and over delivering is something that I always believe in and not the other way around.
I think a lot of agency owners just to sell their offers have started to say, I can guarantee you 5x to us, etc. Which is in today's time. I myself don't run ads and I don't like the concept of running ads myself. Like when I was choosing my industry, I was torn between social media management and Facebook ads, but I used to always think that okay, maybe social media management is more for me. So like you with being interested in Facebook ads and with now TikTok coming in so heavily with people just switching from Facebook ads to like that switch that happened from lead generation to e-commerce is the same switch that is happening from Facebook to TikTok.
Because
so have you like thought about okay, maybe I should have a skill in TikTok as well? Have you started to develop that, or are you a firm believer that Facebook is still gonna be there even if any other platform comes up? So now Twitter being sold to Elon Musk has said that he's going to improve the ad set for those, because I think Twitter has a huge opportunity for ads, but it's just that the ads manager and the way of advertising really is old right now with exactly. So I feel once they also come in, you have these three platforms that are very very big. And so what do you think about that? Are you like thinking about expanding into those, or are you like comfortable just with Facebook ads?
Obviously like in my workload specifically, Facebook, Instagram is still going to be a bigger part. It's because I believe that Facebook, Instagram is going to still be the most scalable platform that we have. But again, change is the only constant thing that we have in this industry, and if you don't change, you will obviously get behind. So I feel like TikTok is obviously an emerging platform, and I am really personally getting more my time invested into TikTok and learning. So basically TikTok is like a car toy. It's something like everyone can run it because the structure is really simple.
It's pre-iOS 14.
Facebook. It's like 2017 Facebook. It's obviously it has like all the it's really like junky in terms of the platform UI UX. There's obviously like a lot of bugs, glitches, but still the cost, like the people, all the eyeballs are specifically in US and in like European markets, eyeballs are shifting towards TikTok. People are enjoying more content over there, and they feel that Facebook, Instagram is like flooded with
a lot
ads
of people,
and
exactly.
So TikTok is really an entertainment.
I think it's
platform
more
for
of the
them.
Gen Z platform of
Exactly,
today's
yeah.
time. Like, when you want to
But-
sell a young product, I think people are
But
starting
like
to go to
I have
TikTok.
personally seen, and I've working with a couple of like other TikTok brands, like TikTok clients as well. Those who spend the same amount of money on Facebook, but they are spending like almost 1/3 of their spend on TikTok. Everyone is diversifying. So
Yeah.
I'm also like getting TikTok managing
As a-
TikTok
yeah,
accounts as well,
exactly.
just to get more experience, just to. And I feel that if I can get ahead of the curve with running TikTok ads for those clients, that
Obviously,
is something that
yeah.
obviously will get me far ahead from
Yeah,
other.
and plus you have two income sources from the same
Exactly,
client, and
and-
it's not just
and plus, like,
sticking to Facebook.
Yeah, and plus like every client wants to run on TikTok as well.
They want to run on any profitable platform.
Yeah, exactly, because they just want to make sure that their
Numbers.
media spend is as
Yeah.
efficient as possible, whether it's spending on Facebook or Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah.
Snapchat, whatever. So I'm definitely really looking forward to growing, like focusing more on TikTok in this year specifically, because I feel 6 months down the line, already brands have started to spend
Yeah.
on TikTok. I have personally spoken to like a lot of media buyers who are spending upwards of like 500K per month on TikTok, and this is something that a lot of like new brands, emerging 6-7 figure brands are already starting to do. So this is something that is always going to change is going to always happen.
Yeah, of course. There's
Like
always a
Facebook,
new
Instagram,
platform,
and
yeah.
then TikTok is also upcoming, and Twitter potentially maybe somewhere down the line.
I think Twitter would be something that can come up. It all depends on how the trajectory of the social media
Yeah.
goes.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's been such a journey for you, obviously, with everything happening around you. 2 years is a short time to do everything. I think I started like 3 years ago. You started 2 years
2
ago.
years ago,
Yeah, and especially with the pandemic helping us all to be at home and actually learning this skill. Of course, in India, the pricing market is very different. So, like you mentioned that you also were at a job at another agency. So, were you like, when you were at the job, did you see some stark differences between how Indian agencies work and how agencies abroad that you're currently working with, or was the work culture on a very similar end? But of course, India being a bit more on the heavier side, because you're at one agency doing a full-time thing versus like you're working with multiple brands, you have to divide your time that way.
So like working full-time in an Indian agency, so that was like a big MNC. Working in a full-time agency is something specifically, like even that was work from home, but still it took a lot of like efforts and time and everything from me, and that is something that I would hate it, because I would never go with like a full-time corporate like MNC, like a very big MNC.
Not a lean machine. It's
Exactly,
a
like a smaller agency.
They have
something
a
that
lot
I
of
would
people
always-
just on you saying do this, do that.
So, and the work that I used to do there was like pretty automated. There was no learning curve. There was nothing that you can do on your own. They're like already built SOPs for them. They're already like built out things that you just need to like manually do it. And this was something that I personally hated it to the core, and I felt that this will not take me anywhere in my career. And obviously it was like campus placement for me.
Yeah, of course.
So I just like took it because of like my parents' pressure and everything. But this is something that I would never do it. I feel that having that flexibility of choosing what brands to work with.
Yeah, of course. When you're working full time, you have to obviously, if they give this brand, you have to work with this brand.
Exactly. So like that flexibility is something that I always feel, and that mindset of working with like US or like European brands is something that will always give you that additional like obviously like increment as well in terms of your paycheck.
Yeah,
and
obviously,
also
because for them it's like living expenses of the same person.
And also it allows you to work with the best of the minds and make sure that they appreciate you, because the thing that I've realized is like, even if you're like working as a freelancer, working as a full-time employee, you need to work with people who really appreciate or believe in your abilities and give you that bigger opportunities, and they will allow
they appreciate
you to
appreciate you as your skill.
Exactly.
As your
They realize
person,
that the work that you're doing is obviously really impactful to the business.
You are replaceable. Everybody is replaceable.
Exactly.
But whether they want to replace you or not is the question. And I come across so many people, like you said, you were doing the job because of your parents' pressure. And of course, I know you quit your job and you were running your agency at that time. So I see so many people saying, "Oh, I can't run my agency. Like I can't not your agency, but you're working for other." I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, but I can't. I have a full-time job. I can't do this." I know you're working 16 hours a day, kind of a thing. So what made you like convince your parents first of all to make you to show them, I'm making 10 times this what you're telling me to do as in a job versus in a setting where I'm much more happier with it. But also like how you saw that transition to be for yourself.
So like for me, that transition was really smooth, and my parents were really like really open to it, because they came to me before me coming to them and saying that okay, I really want to quit my job, because I was obviously, once I knew that I was making more than what I was doing on my job, I felt that okay, this is the right time, and obviously like this job is not going to get me anywhere, and this will I'm just like wasting my time over there. So I personally wanted, and like I joined the job because I felt that I could learn something over there, but that did not get me that learning curve. So I felt that this is something that I really want to quit. That's like a no-brainer for me, and I am like willing to take that take that leap of faith and like go towards like
not a paycheck, but more towards
more towards like learning, because I know that if I can focus all my attention towards this career, I can make the most out of it, and I can work for the less amount of time, and I can make more money, and especially like help and my work that I'm doing is going to be valued and be appreciated, and that growth is something that I can obviously see in my career and at the same time in the client's business as well that I'm working for. So the transition was really smooth, and I feel if people have that sort of like a mindset that okay, I cannot work as a freelancer while I'm working in a job, or I cannot devote my time, my only thing to them would be that that's your procrastination that's stopping you from doing anything, rather than you actually not having the time. Because if you are really like passionate about it, you will obviously take the time out of your busy schedule 100%. To do something that you really want to do. That is something that I was doing, like working 16 hours a day, like having a full-time 8 hours of job, and then working on my freelancing gigs as well. So that is something that took a lot from
the hustle culture. Gary Vaynerchuk says,
but I knew that exactly. But that was not sustainable at all. That
of course, it's not sustainable.
That is something that I
you just had to do at that particular time, just to make yourself believe as well that okay, this life versus that life. It's like grass is always green on the other side. Now you don't wonder whether you did a job, what would that life be like, because you actually experienced that for 3 months.
Actually I've taken that experience, and I really wanted to make sure that I'm like not left midway. I'm like actually making sure that I don't have a lot of risk while making that transition. And once I knew that I'm ready to take that leap of faith and actually go towards like towards this industry specifically, I felt that okay, this is the right time. And obviously like working 16 hours a day is not sustainable at all. That is not something you can do for a longer period of time. So you need to like clearly sort out your priorities. And I think for anyone who's like really willing to start as a freelancer, the first thing, and they're like currently working, the first thing for them should be to start like learning that skill, learning and acquiring that time, getting that practical experience alongside their job, because they have that job's cushion as well as having stability, and then learning that skill. And once they learn that skill, once they know that that income is coming, or even if that income is not coming right now, it will come eventually if they start focusing full time on it. They should take that leap of faith, because that money crunch would be like a short time thing,
of course,
but that long time that long term impact of it would really pay like yields to them, and that is something that
I guess everybody can't take that risk factor as well. But again, like if you were starting out, again, this would be the last question, if you were starting out from ground zero, you had the skill, you have the skill, what would you do right now to land your first client? Would you what exactly would be your step-by-step? So if somebody who's watching this video wants to become a media buyer, who wants to work with other agencies to make their first $300, $500 a month, what would be your step-to-step thing that would get them over there? Sure.
So my step-to-step approach would be, first of all, like it really depends on how much skill you have, like how much experience you have.
Like just to manage Facebook ads, like you did in the beginning.
So I would just like encourage, first of all, like anybody can start, maybe anybody can help a lot of like their friends or family, just like work for free, or even if you don't have any friends or family that need the help on with online ads or like media buying, you can just like work for free for anyone. Like be as an like go for an internship or an apprenticeship, I would say. Just like work for them for free, and work as a junior, like as a really person who can just like shadow someone, or just find that opportunity, or even just like outreach, or like really
build
small brands, or
like
build your portfolio in terms of like understanding. Spend your own money if you don't find anything. I know it can be something that not a lot of people can do. I personally also struggle with that, but I think just find that first opportunity
Yeah.
through Facebook groups, LinkedIn. Just build that sort of
You can even
reputation in the
partner with
industry.
somebody
that,
who's like looking to get started. You can just say you put up the budget for it and
exactly.
you can run ads for them.
Yeah, and just like get that experience, because that first gig is something that you'll obviously find really like you'll find struggle, and you'll be really struggling in finding that
it's not about the money. Like you said, you earn
Exactly.
$30. For my first social media management gig, I earned $10, $20.
Exactly.
So now we are of course past that, but it took us time, and we started from there. Nobody starts from $500 a month. There are people who start from that, but those are just the normalities of the business. But everybody has to start with the minimum and then work their way up, because when you have the own skill, when you have the own confidence that okay, I can actually charge that much, is when you can actually say that out loud with confidence, where the client also feels okay, this guy is actually worth that amount of investment in.
Exactly. So I think first just find that opportunity. Once you have found that, just like keep on upskilling yourself, because like talk to other people who are like really experienced, who are doing the same thing. Even if you can shadow them, help them in like doing some manual tasks, like some small tasks, and get them to like train you. That training itself will pay really well for you in the upcoming months and years. So just find that opportunity first of all through all these groups, build your reputation, and then just like keep on upskilling yourself. Follow a lot of like people on Twitter. Those are like really they share a lot of like free content over there. Find a way to like go through these YouTube courses, but make sure you're like obviously not following the wrong people. Follow the right people. Like find that opportunity. Make sure that you get some results for your client, or like you start building your portfolio by looking.
You make mistake, obviously.
Everyone will make mistake, but you learn from that. And if you have the drive, or if you have the passion, and you are not like actually doing this thing just for money's sake,
you will succeed. With time, it may take 3 months, it may take 6 months, but you'll actually get something.
Exactly. But if you are starting just to by just looking at that, okay, there's a lot of money in this industry and everything, I can get like I can just like get more money in short amount of time. You'll obviously fail, because then you are just getting into this industry just for money's sake. Because when I personally came, I did not even know that okay, there's so much money that's involved here. I came just for pure passion and just to understand and build my portfolio, and eventually with time I saw that okay, there's something that I can actually make a good living out of it. So that passion and that end goal is something
money being money driven is okay, but it should be a sole purpose.
Exactly. You should like be really clear about your goal and what you are really wanting to achieve out of this. Obviously, once you really upskill yourself, once you really do
you actually provide value, then when you provide value, money automatically
comes, money will follow you, and obviously you will get better rewards, better clients, better living lifestyle, and everything. So that will follow eventually. But setting your priorities in this industry is something that you should always do at the beginning, and make sure that you are following the right path.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shubham. I'm pretty sure a lot of people must have found value in that. I'll leave your email or your Facebook down below for anybody who wants to chat with you, who wants to know more about what you do. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is like my first experience.
I'm really happy.
I'm like a really camera shy person, so but I hope that my journey is something that I always feel is obviously I have like a long way to go.
Yeah, of course we all do.
Exactly. But I feel that this has been quite a roller coaster ride for me, and
if you can motivate more people to follow
exactly.
this path,
And if I can help more people, especially like coming from like a third world country like India, and working with like all these bigger clients and clients in like all these developed nations, it's something that was a big challenge for us. That took
and we used to also see these podcasts and see these YouTube interviews of people making money and doing something on their own, and we used to be like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it too. And we both obviously weren't skilled. It's not like we were born with skills. You worked on it. When after college, I see so many people think in school, oh, I don't know, like in our school, used to be like, who knew that we both would be sitting over here, I would be running 2 agencies, you would be running your
just
own
like working virtually.
And we used to, we would meet in a different city just to work together for 3-4 days and just to chill together. So, something life is very unpredictable, so you guys should just take that as a whole.
Learning, opportunity. But I think there's a lot to learn for everyone, and this like the pie is very big for everyone to take a share of. So I think it's not something there's a lot of competition. Obviously, if you do really well, the competition where you can obviously outbeat them.
Anyway. I'm 100% sure 1 year later we both would be doing something else.
Hopefully,
Perfect. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Bye, guys.